Hello, everyone. Welcome back. I am once again finally set up at my new place, and we are streaming and happy again. So, fair warning, there will be some upcoming construction. The new place had an unfinished basement. I am clearly sitting in, as is evident by the green screen behind me. But that unfortunately means that as we start working on finishing it and the contractors need to move stuff around, there may be some weeks where I have to duck in and out. Just as practicality of having dust flying all around my computer sounds like a really bad idea. So it will be relocated during appropriate construction seasons. But I will try to keep people posted and updated as those types of things happen. Okay, so for tonight, I'm going to dive back into the material design in XAML. Kind of was a little out of it last time. I blame the lack of Mountain Dew. So anybody who caught that last stream, if I seemed a little slow, don't worry. Mountain Dew this time. We're good. But there's a few open PRs on the material design project. Was going to try to knock those out, as well as take a look at, I think the one that I fixed last time that I realized by the end of the stream I had fixed incorrectly. So going to probably revisit that one a little bit. Okay, but first. Oh, wait, there's more. There's more. I did a thing. So, get cracking. Let's see. Where is it? Get cracking workshops. They've been trying to put out a lot of great learning material for me to be able to do stuff. And look, there was this one. Now, unfortunately, Sarah got sick and was unable to actually attend. So it ended up just being me the whole time. So I rolled with it. It was great. I had a wonderful time blitzing through. And based on the feedback, it sounds like I will probably do more in the future. There was a request during the session to do something on effectively like rewriting, fixing mistakes, deleting, undoing, that kind of stuff in Git, which there's no silver bullets for. It all depends on kind of what the current state that you're in and where you're trying to get to, but it is a useful skill for people to know about. But the recording from the YouTube one is now up. So it is coming. And there is also collaboration. So they do, as they get things scheduled, you can see the on-demand ones if you want to check out any of their previous ones. I personally recommend this one for obvious reasons. Hey, look, it's me. But there is a lot of really great workshops and information in here as well. So check them out. It is definitely worth taking a look at. Okay, so this guy here, let me, I'm going to be on this side. So this is not the one I was interested in. This one, this clock button visibility. So this is a very simple PR, and I absolutely love it when people give, nice, easy reproduction stuff. It's basically, hey, I want to add a new property to the time picker, and I want to be able to show and hide the button. That's it, right? So not terribly complicated, and the change looks perfectly fine, right? We can see there's the XAML for the test project. We can make that a little bigger for people. But the entirety of the fix is literally a template binding onto said button, and then an important dependency property to actually get set. And there's not a lot here to it, right? We can check the dependency property, make sure the name is correct, the type is correct, the owner type is correct. All of that seems fine. The default value is being set to visibility visible, which I believe is the appropriate default. But the poster of this had a great question. So, and calls out, I know it's hard to define rules, when and what to test, but are there any guidelines on what should be tested and what not? For this change to the time picker, I asked myself if that's worth writing tests for. I ended up not writing one because it seemed like such a small change. And this is a great question. Like, I love it when I hear people asking these types of questions, because oftentimes what it means is people are actually thinking through what and how to test. So there are some people that get very dogmatic and say, no, test for everything. You must have a test for everything, and test-driven development and this, that, and the other. I don't quite. I skew slightly to that side, but not. But I dial it back a little bit. There is a cost benefit to writing tests. Tests take time, execution time, specifically build minutes. So there is a cost to every one of those tests. Now, most if we're talking unit tests, most unit tests are fast, like milliseconds. So when we start talking about time, it's important to keep it in scale. Like, how many milliseconds are we talking about? Well, I once watched somebody who wrote a test that executed, and I think it was like 2 or 3 milliseconds. But due to source generators and data-driven sources for the test, there was like 42,000 executions of it. So, you know, those start to add up a little bit after a while. Again, not a huge deal, but now we're starting to talk, okay, that's like 42 seconds or more. Like, this gets big. This is like adding now a minute on my time. Is that worth it? And for this one, I think I agree with the original poster. I don't think this change is worth testing. Now, the one kind of caveat I would make, sometimes changes seem so trivial that they aren't worth writing a test for, but then there's still bugs. So usually kind of the litmus test that I go with is based upon the number of bugs or flaws that are coming in an area. If an area seems to have a lot of bugs, even if a change seems simple, it could be a simple change in a rat's nest of code that's just ugly and unwieldy and has a lot of weird stuff going on, even if it doesn't appear that way, right? Code can look clean, and it's like, oh yeah, I'll just tweak this little value here, and then everything falls apart, right? It's the Jenga tower of, I'm only going to pull the one block. It's like, yeah, there's 40 on top of it though. Like, that's bad. So, but in this case, I think this is great, right? And so I was going to give a reply back and effectively say the same thing. Usually when I teach people testing, one of the key things that I try to tell everyone is the most important question to ask when writing a test is, what am I testing? Right? What am I testing? Because I see people get in the habit of, well, I must write tests. I must make sure my code coverage numbers are up. It's like, yeah, but what are you testing? Like, what failure are you actually trying to guard against? Because sometimes you get into a situation, it's like you've just abstracted away everything you were trying to test. Your test isn't doing anything. Or you get in the case where people are testing like the base class libraries in .NET. Let me assure you, you probably don't need to do that. 99.9% of you do not need to test the base class libraries in .NET. They have more tests than you do. You'll be fine. Right? There's a handful of counter examples. Like, I work on the Essential C# project, and we do write tests because occasionally the BCL changes, and we would like we had a test on double.toString, the simplest possible of tests. Right? Well, in .NET 6, 7, some recent, some version in not too distant past, they actually changed the behavior of it to actually be better in line with the spec, but it meant that after like 8 or 9 decimal places, the value that was displayed for double toString was now different, and our test caught that. Now, we only cared because we were writing a book about how C# works, and so that was a use case where, okay, maybe it's worth having a pinning test that's literally just testing .NET. Okay, in that case, maybe. If you're building an app, no, that's not for you. That is not for you. Okay. Assessment is correct. This probably doesn't warrant any testing. Let's see. I got to learn how to spell. Let's see here. The tests in this project are more integration tests than true unit tests, and consequently have a higher cost to run. So often I can test them. One thing with them is, let's see, no, that's not the right way to phrase it. So always good to consider the change There. Okay, so I think that's good. We're going to enable auto merge, let that one go. Okay, so that handles that one. So that one, simple up, down. Okay, this one here is the numeric up, down one that we were looking at before. And we had thrown this one out here, and it Futures Boy got very close. The only thing that he did that was a little interesting was the necessity of implementing this I arithmetic interface, which if we take a look here, or maybe I'll back up. The idea here was a desire to have the numeric up-down control support more types of values. I think in this case, the original request was for decimal in addition to the other. I think it was previously doing ints. And so the idea here was to have a decimal up-down as well as a up-down base that could go through and do this, right? And so this is effectively that. The other key feature that was being added is when you step up and down, to be able to define that step amount. Because before, the up-down control was hard-coded at 1. So every time you went up, it went up one value. Increment, decrement. Very simple. But say you wanted to be jumping by multiples of 10 or 2 or whatever, right? You couldn't do that previously. So this guy here was an attempt to do it. And I kind of want to check this one out and take a look at it. I'm curious to understand this I arithmetic. There was a feature added recently in .NET called generic math, for those people who haven't seen it. And this is the reason that I arithmetic caught my attention is because it kind of steps into the area that this generic math was designed to solve, right? So you can see this has some generic interfaces, and I imagine, and I haven't dove into this PR yet, but I imagine one of the limiting factors from leveraging this is only available in newer versions, right? So net 7 and up. And material design, my general rule is I will support a .NET version until it goes out of support from Microsoft. Once it drops out of support from Microsoft, I make no guarantees I'm going to continue supporting it. We might leave it in for a while, but once things drop out of support from Microsoft, it becomes a major pain for me to support. Things don't show up in my build agents. I have to do extra work, yada, yada, yada. It's not like if I find a problem, Microsoft's going to help me out or anything. Yeah, no. So if you are in a situation where you need out of support for an older framework, honestly, the simplest solution is probably forking the repo and maintaining that older one yourself. Because I'm going to start using newer APIs, newer stuff, and backporting stuff down to all kinds of ones gets to be no bueno. So let's take a look at this guy. Let's see here. My get cracking is set to tiny mode. Let's make it big mode. Okay. Put me over here again. Let's see here. Collapse, collapse, collapse. Numeric up, down. Yeah. So let us add remote and checkout branch. Let's see. Master already exists. Numeric up, down. So this is one of the few cases where having a remote branch named differently than your local branch works. Right, so you can see here my local branch is called numeric up, down, but it's tracking a branch called master that's out on another fork. Right, so Futures Boy went through and did the work on the master branch on their fork, which is fine. Generally, I tell people make a branch to do your PRs on, because otherwise it kind of gets you locked in a little bit. But it also gives a nice situation here. What are you doing? Settings designer. That sounds like something was on an older. Why is mine trying to revert to something older? No, mine's trying to go newer. Huh, interesting. Whatever. We're going to ignore that for the moment. Okay, so let's go take a look at, okay, fine, reload. Reload Visual Studio. And then I want to go take a look at this numeric up-down control. Because I completely understand the idea of wanting to do this, but I am wondering if we can do something a little different. Let's see. I do not know why my Control T insists on opening up on my monitor over there. No idea. Okay, so we've got this guy here, and I'm kind of curious as to why we need some of these things. And I think this is kind of the idea here, is to be able to dial it up and down based on this guy. It is a very interesting problem because min, max, and then there is some of these ones here. Yeah, this one feels a little, something seems a little off to me. But I like the idea. So specifically here, what I would love to do is go through and drop the T arithmetic portion of this. What is coerce value? Got it. Okay, so it's trying to coerce the value property and the maximum property based upon the minimum change. Okay. Okay. Because the alternative here is, and we can clean up the usings, is to do it with abstract members, because I'm not sure having to have this buys me a whole lot. So what I'm looking to do is get down to this. Right? I think this is where I would like to be. And I'm curious why value step and I kind of see the problem is wanting to register these dependency properties and having them exist. Let's see, let's fix that right here. Small typo. But I think we can get around this with abstracts is kind of my thinking. I think we can get around this with abstracts. Let's see. And it's interesting. So this one here was defined. I'm a little surprised that we need this rather than just flattening everything down. So let's start with a couple layers. We're going to start there. Then we're going to come up here and we're going to start here. And then I think what I want to do is drop this and then get rid of the generic constraint and get rid of underscore arithmetic. Okay. So I think what I would like to do here is protected abstract. Can I get away with this? I don't know if I can get away with this. Hang on, I want to look and see. Sharp. Yeah. This. So this is the underlying feature here that enables that generic math. But I'm trying to remember the rules around what frameworks or runtimes this is supported in. see, these are all, and this is the proposal for it. Yeah, I don't, well, let's see, T, can I get away with this? Let's see here, and then I think I want to do where T, because here's the thing is I want, because if I go up here, right, let's see, I want to look at what's on int 32, because it was added as interface members on here. So when they added the generic math stuff, this is what they did. They did all of this, both I addition operator, I number. I think I number is what I want. Yeah. Where T, I number of T. And this is where we run into problems because, yeah, I don't think we can shim this guy in. Because even if I bring in I number of T, I am then still limited. Yeah, so in case this doesn't, this will make people's head hurt. Public interface, static virtual method. Think that through for just a minute. Public interface, static virtual method on the interface itself. Right? This is what makes it really, really powerful. The problem being, I don't think I can backport this, which makes it slightly more obnoxious. So we're going to do this for a minute, but we might come through. One of the things I might look at doing is changing this up so that .NET 8 gets a .NET 8 and newer gets a better version of this. Because when we ship the NuGet package, it is separate DLLs per target framework. Let's see. So I think we can get away with this. See, I think this is actually slightly cleaner in my opinion. But I'm like I understand the reason why this is problematic and why it was done the other way is so that there could be a static reference to this. What is the best way to handle this? Because you need to have a static reference to this, and you need to have the min value flow through. Because I was anticipating just being able to abstract this, but now I am understanding the desire to have that T arithmetic in here. Because that then enabled a way to have a static reference to something that we could reach across to. Yep. Just feels very, very ugly in my opinion. Trying to see if there's an easy way around this. Oh, man. Yeah, because there's not a clear way of passing in a static reference. Oh, why must older .NET make my life hard? Why must they make my life hard? Because boy, I would love to do something like this and get away with this. Yeah, because this guy exists. And then this becomes, what is it? A number of t min number. What is it? What is the number 0, 1? Hang on, my big head is in the way. Let's see, is infinity, absolute value. It's negative is number. I'm wondering why is min and min number. Confuse the value, return the imp. Is number not the right thing that I want? Let's see. Let's see. Int. I thought there was going to be a... Wait a minute. I min max value, is this what? Yeah. This is what I want. So for this one, would look like this. Well, I guess we can drop this one for now. So we technically only need this, and then I go I min max value of t min value. Only what is the way to get at this? A static virtual abstract interface member can only be accessed on a type parameter. Oh, got it. It's just t.min value, isn't it? So frustrating and so close, and yet so far away. Okay, well, let's back this sucker up then and throw away our changes for the moment. Let's revisit this. Is there a cleaner way to do this? I am very tempted to keep this and then convert to string. Okay, I want to look at some of these. Value to string. Okay, so we're going to clean up a couple of these. I don't think we need convert to string in here. Open to being proven wrong, but I have a strong suspicion that that is not needed. And that is probably not needed. Let's see what breaks. Because this will get me pretty close. I'm thinking I might clean up the names of this to make it overlap with the .NET 8 stuff, just so it lines up a little nicer. And I don't even think we need the cast here. We can just to string it. And then this comes down here. ToString. Let's see here. Dereference of possibly null value. That is a fair statement because it doesn't know. ToString. So we can probably get this guy limited to a value type. We'll see what we can do. Let's clean this up as well. So we reverted our changes, we dropped it. Copy and paste there. Clean that up, clean that up, clean that up. Okay, so that gets us through there. That gets us into there. Still want to collapse these if I can, but we're going to do this one step at a time. One step at a time. Because I really don't think you want somebody instantiating up-down control by itself. I don't think there's a use case for that. Maybe I'm wrong. Okay, so min, max, getting the maximum. Getting the minimum. Why does min have one fewer use than max? Coerce numeric value. Let's see here. So what are the max? I'm just surprised to see a different number of references, and I'm looking to try to understand why. Yeah, because I'm really wondering if we can get away with moving some of these out. Okay, let's look at value step. Why is, of all of them, this one is expression body, expression body. This one is defaulting to default of T. Right there. I don't know, and we can name up this. That we can get away with. I'm surprised to be using that one here. Hey, Izzy. We are taking a look at the... See if I can find it. This PR here, the one that I had called out last session on refactoring the numeric up-down control. The original author went through and implemented more or less how I was expecting. There's a few things this arithmetic is giving me a bit of pause, and I'm trying to understand for a moment because I would like to go through and determine if I can make this look a little bit more like the generic math in .NET 8. That way, as the older frameworks drop off the support train, we just have the new stuff going forward, is kind of what I'm leaning towards. Because some of these, I suspect, like where is triparse used? Visual Studio, what are you doing? Why is this so hard? Find references. See, was that hard, Visual Studio? So it's only being called here. And see, in this case, this is another one of these situations where I think it's actually better to not put it as part of the arithmetic. Okay, well, let's fire this guy up and make sure I haven't broken anything first. And then I think we're going to start collapsing some stuff. Because I think we can collapse this down a little bit and make it a little cleaner. Because the goal is to still have a forward-facing API that matches the old version so that it's a non-breaking change for everything else. Let's see, numeric up down. Let's see, this one here is the regular numeric up down. This one is decimal up down. It's going by halves. This is customized with different buttons on it. Is the game plan. Okay, so that still appears to work just fine. Okay, so if that's the case, I think what I'd like to do is move the, because I'm trying to get as much out of here as possible, and try parse isn't something I think I want on here. Let's take a look. That is let's see, because this is just blind arithmetic, and this is setting the default value step to 1. But I believe int 32, if we jump to him, he has a signed number. One of these things here has a, is it number base that has 1 defined? Yeah. Yeah, because this here goes back to, see, this is I wish they would show more usages of this. This is one of these features that you don't play with very much until you need it. Let's see. Let's see. Yeah, so you define t, and so I think what we want to do is we want to call this number base, because this is what I'm kind of looking to get down to. Because if I was to do this purely in .NET 8, and for case in point, let's just kill the other frameworks for a minute, just so we can play here for just a moment. Where t I number base of t. All right, so this is going to be the only thing that allows in. And then if that were the case, where'd that value step go? This then becomes, rather than default of t dot 1. See? Kind of cool. Kind of cool. But this is where I'm kind of wondering if we're about to get ourselves into some real fun territory, where older frameworks get a very different interface. I kind of want to get this working with the new stuff and then backport it. Is kind of what I'm thinking, because this then becomes, what is it, t dot so what is it, I min max value of t. This becomes t dot min value, and then this becomes e dot max value. So we handled those two. Let's see here. T dot what was it? I number. It goes, if I go I number, then I get min max comparison. T dot max, yeah, of something like that. Yeah, so let's see if we can beat this sucker into submission with doing just this, and then we'll backport in whatever we need. It's kind of my thinking. Let's see. So this is wanting to know, so if value compared to maximum, so if the value is less than or equal to the maximum, that feels like a bug. If value is less than or equal to the max, then it's enabled. I think You know, that is a good point, Izzy. I haven't actually spent any time looking for a polyfill for this. I kind of suspect I'm not going to find a good polyfill, because in order for this to work, like the generic math stuff required a change to the runtime, which is why I think I'm going to end up with a pound if in a bunch of spots, changing this out. Like, polyfills are great when it doesn't require runtime changes. But once it requires runtime changes, you kind of get hosed, because there's not a clean way to backport them. Is kind of my thinking. Let's see. Let me look, because int32, I thought there was like an I. Oh yeah, we can just do I comparable. But the I comparable assumes you have I think one of these guys in here, I equatable, I span parsable, I addition, subtract, urinary plus. Let's see. I number base, but we already have this. Hey, Code Void, welcome. Welcome. We are attempting to work on a pull request for the material design library and play around with the new generic math in C#. It's not a feature I've had the opportunity to have such a good use case for. So this is kind of, we'll call this a learning opportunity for me as well. How do I do? There's got to be one of these things on here that does comparison. Let's see here, because at the end of the day, what we're looking for is a less than comparison. And I have a hard time believing they implemented everything else out under the sun and not a less than operator. I comparison operators. Oh, that's what they did. Okay, so what they did instead is, rather than making this hard, they just went up, down, base, dot value, less than or equal to maximum. Oh, I was making that a lot more complicated than I needed it to be. Again, I think this logic is off. I think it should be a strictly... unless I'm reading this backwards. Because, let's see. So, compared value to minimum, if the compared value is greater than or equal to 0, meaning the value is greater than or equal to the minimum. So, I think I'm reading that properly. But they didn't implement the static compared to, they just implemented the operator and called it a day. Let's see. So, this one here is going to be T. They have a clamp, which I have to completely respect. Why did that thing put a ref in there? Okay, so we're gonna just do this. That gets us to there. We already did value step of t.1. I will say, this is making my life really happy, having such a beautiful example of when you would ever actually use this. This is actually something I don't think I do enough in the material design library, is appropriately categorize the public members. This shows up in the property explorer when you're looking at these things. If you group by category rather than name. I'm just always sorted by alphabetical, so I rarely care. So it's one of those. Oh, look at that. Look at that. T.triparse. Okay. What is your problem here? No overload for triparse takes in. Oh, so they don't give you the nice overload. They want a format provider. Got it. So a format provider in C# is generally going to be your culture info. And here's the thing. What are we inside of? Aren't we inside the control here? Yeah, we are. I think what we're going to end up with, though, is culture info, current UI culture. And this is one of the few places where it actually works to do this. Oh, and that flag there makes me suspect that this thing may not be completely correct. Pikachu! Thank you very much for the sub. 5 months. That is amazing. And welcome back. It is good to see you back again. Let's see. I think we want that actually as the definition. Okay, I think we go here. I think this is making me feel a little bit better. This also means we don't need to do value step here for NumericUpDown. It also means that we don't need to do value step here anymore for NumericUpDown, and we don't even need any of that. That just all goes away. That just goes away. Okay, so that makes me feel a little better. And I think what we're going to get ourselves all the way down to is something. Yeah. Huh. I moved house in a bit of a crazy time. I completely sympathize with that. Yeah, our move is mostly done. We are finally unpacked. My wife finally said today that at least most of the upstairs, the boxes are now opened. Everything is out. Things are kind of put away and organized. But it's been, yeah, there's a lot. I don't recommend moving to anybody. It sucks. I personally hate it. But sometimes you have to move, we'll say, for the greater good. Yeah. Okay, next thing I am not clear on. Okay, so this thing here. This is doing an add. But I think we can get away with t-add. No, wait. We don't need this anymore. Because we're an I number, we can just do this. Right? And then this becomes the opposite. Okay? I'm just trying to get it all the way down to where T arithmetic drops out of this thing. Do we compile still? I think we're going to compile. Just now setting my office back up. Yeah. I finally got mine set up last week, and I'm at a place where it is up, but I wouldn't say it is fully set up. Yeah, top most stressful thing in life. Yeah, it definitely is in my top 3. Very much in my top 3. I am a creature of habit who does not like change. So moving is basically all of the things that I do not like. But again, sometimes necessary for the greater good. Let's see here. So test errors don't matter because this is all here. Okay, so I think what we're going to do is we're going to just start pound if net 8 or greater, else end if. Right? I think this is how we're going to do it, because I want something prettier. But I understand that I can't have my pretty without being net 8. But I can get away with this garbage. I can get away with this garbage. So this I can't get away with unless I do this. Okay, so this gets me to here. This gets me to here. And I think what we can do here, let's do a couple more creative things. Pull you up, pull you up. Okay. Private, static, read only, self type. We're gonna get real creative. Gets type of up down base, right? So we're gonna do this just in the interest of not having to do a lot of typing. All right, so this is gonna become self type. This is gonna look ugly. This is gonna look ugly. I clearly learning the XAML stuff a bit better these days. I somewhat understand what is happening now. Yeah, I will say, Izzy, the one thing I did learn is you can always tell who your friends are when you say that, hey, I own a piano, and they still show up to help you move. That's how you can pick them out. Because I told some people that I owned a piano and they still showed up to help me move, which I was incredibly grateful for. Okay, so that's going to go like that. That's going to go like that. That's going to go like that. Okay. Actually, can we get away with using self type equals up down base? Oh, I think we can get away with this. I think we can do this. Can I not get away with an alias type inside of here? Hang on. I feel like I can do this. This is where things get dangerous. Because you're either in a namespace. Can we get here? The problem is it won't. I need to capture that. I'm wanting to alias this whole thing off. I either don't have friends or I don't trust them. That's fair. That is very fair. I had taken some pictures. We pushed a bunch of stuff into a storage unit as part of our move, and I habitually took pictures every step of the way, partly so I could remember where I had put things in the storage unit, and partly just for, keeping track of everything. And I had sent a picture out at one point to some people and said, look, Tetris helps you, pack a storage unit. See, games are useful. And then one of them promptly replied, Grand Theft Auto teaches you how to drive. I was like, you are no longer allowed to drive the moving truck. Nope. Fortunately, I only moved like 10, 15 minutes away from where I was previously. So it wasn't that far of a move. Just wish I could make this work. I don't think I can make it work though. Oh, I want macros. That is what I want. That is what I want. Is there an easy way around this? I don't know if there is. Oh, I'm so close. I'm so close. Come back to that. We're going to fix up some of these other ones. Self-type. I really want to be able to alias the type. But I want to alias it with the generic. Is there a way to do this? Oh, I got an idea. Okay, hear me out. Don't hate me for this, right? private static to up down base. I think I can do this. Dependency object. Dependency object. Boom. I win. I win. I win. I win. I win. Ooh. 85-inch TV. Yeah. So my wife's grandparents, they were very kind to us. They had gifted us a large TV 9 or 10 months ago. But the coloring on it never seemed to line up straight, but it was big. 80 something inches. I don't remember exactly how big, but the coloring was always a little off. And just a few months before we moved, and remember, I didn't know I was moving, so it was kind of a pain. But all of a sudden, it oh, sorry, Ben, it's not you. That's my internet. Hoy vey. Stand by. Something's going on. It is not just you lagging. I am getting drop packets left and right. Stand by. Let me see what the heck's going on. Again, new place. I don't know what's going on. Whoa. Izzy, thank you for the sub, despite all of my chaotic problems. Wow, what is going on? My upload speed is a 20th of what it should be. Oh. Yeah, I mean, that'll suck. Sorry, I'm trying to check my network and see what's going on, but my upload speed has tanked. Yes, I am uploading at 2.6 megabits. That is not sufficient at all. What is going on? It claims to be working flawlessly. I'm calling bull. Turn that off. Hopefully in all of this I don't drop out, but tell you in a moment. Yeah, I am. My upload speed is being completely consumed by my stream right now. Okay, something. What? 42, 1. Let me in. I'm sorry, what? Go to log into my router and it says no. But my speed tests are slowly catching up. What is pushing so much data? And why is it not me? Nope. It is all me pushing data. Yeah, I may have internet problems that I may have to solve. I don't know if I can solve them right now, though, and I apologize for this. Because I think it's going to end up meaning... Yeah, because I have to drop the stream to go through and play with it. Yeah, Izzy, that is exactly right. Because I usually run just speed of me, and yeah, it gives me a fairly reasonable
I should say it gives me a fairly accurate one, but for some reason my upload speed is just absolutely horrible. And my machine's doing just fine. My upload, however, is garbage. Yeah, because I think my poor router is just dying under the load. Yeah, screen just choppy sometimes. Okay, good to know. Thank you. I will keep going, and apparently I need to double check some stuff. So I will say, one of the first things I did when I moved in is I promptly got my Cat 6 cable out and started running lines because I have an unfinished basement at my new place, and darn it, while the ceilings are open, I'm running Cat 6 everywhere I possibly can because that is what I do. But I will not eliminate the possibility that I have screwed something up and I am responsible for this. So there is a reasonable possibility of that. But yeah, my OBS is, let's just put it this way, the drop frames are skyrocketing and the connection thing is all red. So that's not a good sign. So we're going to do this. Let's see. So I want to do this. 2 up down base is, and then we're just going to do this maneuver. Honestly, there's no reason to pattern match on that. There really is no reason to do that in either case, because neither of these are going to ever fail. Var CTRL. Yeah, believe me, Izzy, that was actually one of the things I was heavily considering. The other major issue I have where I'm at is I'm kind of down in a valley, and I've got a very large hill between me and my nearest cell tower, and shockingly, that makes for really bad cell service. So that's my other problem. Is I have to solve my cell service problem as well, because it is not good. Let's see here. I think once again we just flatten this, and then we do this, and actually I kind of like the idea of naming this up down base anyway. Let's go back up here and change these ones out. Up down base, down base, up down base. That's a little more accurate as to what we're actually doing. Put me over on this side for a moment. Let's see here, and then this goes, nope. Give me, that's not the one I wanted. Did I not copy that? I want that on my clipboard, please. Thank you. Thank you for being wonderful and helpful. There. And then we go here, here, here. Yeah, fair enough. Though this may shock you, but I don't mind if people call me. Though here in the US, as soon as you apply for like a home loan or similar, they do a run on your credit, and everyone and their dog will start calling you immediately, like consistently. It's quite annoying. And you can, there's rules around when they're allowed, when legal solicitors are allowed to contact you, and it starts at 8 a.m.
And you can tell because at 8:05, my phone would start ringing. It was almost better than a wake-up alarm. I just ding, ding, ding. I realized 8 o'clock, Izzy, is when I would normally get up. I know your get-up time is something insane. Like ye all hours. Okay, so this gets us to here. This gets us to here. I am liking this better. Okay, so let's go back. Let's put back the thingamabobber for the up down bits. Yeah, discard file, discard. You'll need the telephone preference service. Yeah, amen. Amen, JC. I could not agree more. And there's various things that people have around here to try to put it down. I wish I could lay in the extra 3-ish hours. Yeah. Yeah, I will say I am the night owl person. Okay, so I would like to get the iArithmetic interface, because now if I... What? Hang on. Hey, Visual Studio, I changed this file. Can you please update and acknowledge its existence, please? That'd be great. Because I think what I want to do is get this iArithmetic. Okay, fine. Visual Studio, I'm just rebooting you. I'd like to get the iArithmetic to look a lot more like the iNumber, and so I think it's not going to be a real polyfill, but you know, it'll get it in. To tell all the cold callers you prefer to be called instead of your neighbors. Okay, there we go. Okay, so now you can see when I change my drop down to not that. So we're going to bring this down into here, because that's only needed in the net 8 side of the fence. Yep, great. Okay, so we're going to make now I want to make net 6 compile properly. All right, so this is where we're going to come into some fun problems, because this wants to be capital T. I cannot get away with... I'm trying to think of how to get away with just without blind doing this as let's see, on minimum changed. I don't know why this wouldn't just be private. In general, these things get put as private. So the previous one here had underscore arithmetic min value. Do we get creative? Do we get creative? I am tempted to get creative here. And push a little bit of this off to the side. I think we don't need to partial it just yet, because we can do it all right here. Because what I really want is private static T min value, right? And this one's going to go here. And then this one here goes T dot min value, right? So this then just becomes min value, right? So that's happy there. That's happy there. We're off to the races. This feels a little yucky, but it also feels nice. Oh, yeah. Throwing exceptions on a commented out class? Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Let's see. I'm not quite at the buy a home stage, but when we got told we were approved to move into a rental in the middle of the Aussie rental crisis, so long as it's right now, we dropped everything to move. Yeah,
Yeah, I can understand that. Here in the U.S., it was really bad for a while. It's slowly starting to come back into some semblance. Like, the only reason we moved right when we did and kind of dropped everything is the new place that we moved into is arguably a dream house. So it is gorgeous. It is wonderful. If you like wildlife, it's amazing. We've got turkeys and deer and marmots and snakes and all kinds of fun stuff running around here. My kids love it. If you hate wildlife, I'm sorry, you will not be happy here. Let's see, max value. I kind of like this. Yeah, it is rather nice. And again, the only reason we jumped, like we straight up told our realtor, we're only willing to move if we can have this place. It was very much a dream house. And the old owners have been great, honestly. Like, we accidentally ran into them one day and we traded cell phone numbers, and when we have questions, they're like, yeah, just send us messages. We're happy to help you with whatever you need, which has been really convenient. Like, there's been a number of times we're like, how does this work? Where is the switch to turn this thing on and off? I can't figure out how this works. So they've actually been really great, which has been it's not something you get very often. Okay, so now we need the max. So I don't personally love this, but I'm kind of wondering if I should inline these down lower or just keep leaving them up here. I kind of like leaving them up here. Yeah, the people we bought it from, this was a house that, so their prior residence was old enough to be referred to as a homestead. And there's my mother-in-law is a big genealogist, loves history, loves digging into that kind of thing. And so she promptly started researching all of the background history and that kind of thing. So the prior owner's place was a homestead built in, I want to say around 1900, thereabouts. There's like a retaining wall on the property where they were showing me every person who has worked on the wall over the years is left their mark in the wall itself. And there was Bill and Jim, who worked on the wall in 1940. Must have done a good job because the wall's still standing. So there's things like that where it's like, oh, wow. But their old homestead burned down one day, and so they then built this house and lived in it ever since. So the house is built in 91, I believe. So it's nice. We are going to enjoy this. Okay, so I know it tried to help me, but I think what I actually want is this. And then I want to actually do this. And I want to do this. And then value 1, t value 2. And then this becomes... I'm a little surprised that I'm getting IntelliSense in the grayed out one, which is a little weird to me, but okay. And then this is just going to be arithmetic max. Yeah, I think this is going to get me pretty close to what we're going for. So that goes there. And we just keep our way down the food chain. Now, this is going to be interesting. We'll get it. That's a good question, JC. Probably. Is there any controls in particular that you're looking for? Because when Material Design 3 dropped, we sort of just built out some of the deltas. And I am aware that there's a handful of controls that just haven't been implemented yet. And I shouldn't say controls, a handful of styles that haven't been implemented or updated. Is there any one in particular that you're looking for? I kind of want to test this one. Because I don't know that that's actually correct. This one here, this is min-max, and I think I just want to implement clamp. Just trying to think whether the shared project was worth it. Yeah. I think so. And this is one of the weird things where I think there is a good amount of stuff here, and ultimately, like, Google's not going back to Material Design 2. Like, they are just going to run forward. So it's not like there's going to be any changes that they're going to add going backwards. I kind of suspect that a lot of the future stuff is going to be on the Material Design 3 stuff, unless there's a reason for us not to support the Material Design 2. I don't really anticipate killing it off. What will probably end up happening is just newer stuff may only end up in 3 rather than in 2, but we've kind of been combining them together. And there's even though it was kind of a biggish change, it didn't feel that huge in a lot of the cases that we implemented. So I think the shared project is still very much worth it. In terms of having some of this stuff shared across each of them. At some point I keep thinking about if these are actually the best way to do the demo project. Where is the, let me look here. So there is there's an app released in the store, the WinUI Gallery, and they do their demo app like this. And I got to wondering if maybe this is a better layout for the demo apps. Right? Like, they've got this little thing here for showing the code, which is cool, right? Great. Actually, I should look. Sample page source code. I wonder how they're actually doing this. See, now my internet speed's back up. I don't know what's going on. See, I wonder, hold on, this control example. I'm now curious how they're doing this, because I had to build Show Me the XAML from scratch. I wonder how this is implemented. I want to know how you do this. Do you have a poor man's source generator like what I do? That's really what I want to know. Let's go back. It's probably easier for me to just look at the project than anything else. Control pages. Let's see. Where is your CS proj? Where is your CS proj? There we go. Do you do anything fun? Because that control is local to this. There was a lot of stuff in here. I was just curious as to how they were generating their XAML. And I don't see an obvious explanation yet. The control page sample code. Yeah, I may have to poke at this because I'm curious how they do it. Because I built Show Me the XAML to do it, and I do wonder if there was any inspiration that may have been picked up. Here, let's look here. Is there anything in here? Single project, blah blah blah, publish profile. What I'm looking for is something that would kick off a extra process. There is an import of a props file, some cleanup down here, some package references. You do a bunch of extra work. Because I did have an idea of how to improve Show Me the XAML at some point that I was contemplating doing. Okay, I don't see an obvious example, but I was looking at their demo app, going, you know, this isn't a bad layout, right? Of showing this, like they've got their light dark theme toggle. I don't like how the light dark theme toggle just toggles this, not the whole app. Like, sure, but there are some cool things that they do in here, which is like, oh, that's kind of cool. They've got their feedback button opens an issue right here, so it's like, oh, you know, something like this may be an interesting thing to do. Theirs allows for showing both XAML and C#. I'm like, oh, okay, maybe that's worth doing as well. Maybe adding something like that. So yeah, I think the shared project is good. I do wonder, and I was contemplating doing it with the Material Design 3 stuff. I'm going, you know what? Maybe it'd be nice to redesign the demo app a little bit. Like, it already looks a little different, but maybe something a little more like this might be an interesting way of doing something. It's like, okay. It's interesting to see how other people go through and implement it. Let's see here. So we were going to do a clamp, I think is what I wanted up here for the API. So private static T clamp, T value. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Okay, Copilot, what am I going to write here? No, you're wrong. See, this is why I can't take you anywhere. Because you'll write garbage like that, and I just can't. Is it? Wait. Min max, right? You're making me question my sanity, Copilot. It is min max, right? Yeah, min max. Okay, clamp. Yeah, sorry. So clamp is a newer-ish API that basically just says force the first value between the min and the maximum. So if it's too small, bring it up to the min. If it's too big, bring it down to the max. The way Copilot wrote it with this max min stuff here, this is how most people have written it over the years. Either that or they do a couple if statements. 6 one, half a dozen the other. I don't have a strong preference either way. Okay, so we got the comparison. So now I can just do clamp. Why are you unhappy? Clamp does not exist in the current context. Yes, it does. Oh, because I called it clam. You have to name it clamp if you want it to be that. Maybe that's why Copilot was struggling. Is I said clamp and then wrote clam. Turns out clam and clamp are not the same thing, in case anybody was wondering. Where is this red one? Oh, 1. So I want to go here. Let's see. Min max private static T1. We're going to go here. Private static. What? Add min value plus max value. Okay, this is interesting. I think that actually works. Does it? Does it overflow? Copilot, I have never seen this in my life. And now you are making me question what I think I know. Where's my C# interactive? Interactive. Give me my interactive window. I'm just curious. Int min plus int max, because max is 1 less, isn't it? Yeah. Decimal min
plus decimal max. Okay.
Doesn't work everywhere.
Okay. World makes sense again. World makes sense. 2's complement is the key thing to look up there. And then decimal, I'd have to go look at some specs. So we're not going to do that. Copilot, this is clever. It's also wrong. So we're not going to do that. I think we're just going to add that into the API. Because again, I am looking to make this look real close to the C#8 stuff. That way I only have to do this one time. Okay, so we go here, we go here. We do that. Okay, we come down here. And then now we have, okay, so we basically just need to handle add, subtract, and comparison. Yeah, so which this one already has. So I think what we can do is just add. All right, do that. Subtract. And that'll take care of those two. And so we'll just go back up to the top. Let's see. Private static t add. There. Okay, Copilot, do the rest. Thank you. Okay, Copilot, write the code. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, except for that's not how you implement it. So aside from the fact that you're wrong, that was very good. So you need to be better, Copilot. Okay. So that gets us addition and subtraction. And, oh, we need a try parse. Okay, we'll do try parse. Let's see. Private stat. Dang nab, you Copilot, you freaking show off. Absolute freaking show off. Format provider. And I believe we go nullable on that. And then I think I want the interface to match and have that. We're probably going to steal a little bit more of that here in a moment. Because I think, let's see. Format provider. Like that. Okay, that's getting a little long. Wrap that around. Okay. Okay, Copilot, do your thing. Thank you. Because this guy here, format provider. I think we can get away. Yeah, so this should be maybe no when is what I want to decorate the other guy with. Okay, fine. I understand you can't navigate under the symbol. Yeah. How about now? Yeah, see? So I want that. Let's see here. So you... I thought I if-def these already. Boy, I could have sworn I polyfilled these ones in. I could have sworn I polyfilled these suckers in. Really? Huh. I must have done that on a different one. Let's see, 3638. Yes, JC, happy to take a look. Fact. I'll even go take a look right around. 3638. Let's see. Let's see. Floating action demo command does not seem to be triggered from the pop-up box. Should it be removed? Oh, okay. Good question.
Good question. Okay, so that's just moving namespace. Button view model deleted. Oh, good catch. Good catch on that. That's just a namespace change. And then bringing in community toolkit into it. Okay, so let's take a look at this. And I didn't remove the code. Okay. Let me take this. I will stash. And we will check out the branch real quick. Visual Studio will lose its mind. Feel free to take off to work, JC. I don't remember which point. I don't know where exactly in the stream I'm at, but we are roughly 90-ish minutes in. So if you want to catch the recording afterwards, start about there. Let's see here. If we go... Yeah, no problem. Have a good one. Have a good one. I clearly closed the wrong screen. And I want to go look at this guy here. Okay. Got it. So this guy here. And then I guess the question is taking a look at buttons. Polyfill from Simon Crop. Yeah, you're referring to the nullable reference type ones. I think. Sorry, what is going on? Twitch, stop hiding the close button. Yeah, I've used polyfill libraries in the past. The other one is that I have used, like, oftentimes I will just copy them in because most of the polyfill libraries, all they do is lift the code out of the .NET source and into a NuGet package. And in a lot of cases, that's all it is somebody went through the effort of doing some pound ifs. So oftentimes I'll just do the same lift and bring it in myself and call it a day. Okay, so this one concerns me if this is actually not working, because this should be actually wired up. Floating action demo command. Let's put a breakpoint on there and launch, because it's specifically referenced, and I'm worried that pop-up box has a bug. That's my fear. Which I will say this, JC, thank you for catching this. Let's see here. Hang on, what am I looking at here? Oh, I am in the wrong zone. Button. Okay, and then specifically the button in question. Let's see, pop-up box style, secondary pop-up box. This one? Floating action secondary pop-up box. Floating material design, multi-floating action secondary pop-up box. Oh. That's toggle checked content command. Boy, you are 100% correct that is not working. So now the question is, where should it be implemented? Well, let's go a hunting. Let's go a hunting. Let's see. Left mouse button up. Oh, is this? Okay, got it. Preview left mouse button up. So let's catch it here. So, and not, so let's see. If the pop-up mode is click, which it is, if the pop-up mode is click, early return. Why? Hold on. Why? I think this is just backwards. Right? Yeah, I think this is just straight backwards, and that's a bug. Boy, it's clearly a feature that doesn't get used a lot if it's backwards. Because, yeah, because this is preview mouse left button up. If this is a good example of what I was talking about earlier, is should there be a test? Well, if there's bugs, there it hits. It's weird that it only triggers on close. I'm very baffled by this. I'm very baffled by this. On toggle check content. The name of this command is confusing me as far as its intent. And as you can see, some of this code is quite old, right? The original author is British, and so you will see that leak through in some of the naming every so often. Toggle checked content command. So it kind of makes sense because the check content is the content when it is actually expanded. So there's checked. So it does floating action button command. But so the usage in the demo app seems like it's backwards. There should be a content command in here, and this is why I'm a little confused, is it seems like there's something weird going on here, right? So this is left mouse button up. Left button up is pop-up open. So if it's not yet open, return. And see, I'm curious at this condition here. This doesn't make a lot of sense to me. The fact that this was an equals click doesn't make much sense to me. I almost wonder if this feels like such a worthless command. Because a pop-up box is meant to be a toggle button plus a pop-up control. Like, it's just a convenience control. That's all it is. Because there's a toggle button for on-off, right? Checked, unchecked. How many commands are in here? Current document. So, command binding. I almost wonder if this, oh man, this feels so wrong. Like, this whole command is just messed up. I am wondering if this should actually be, because this thing doesn't seem functional. Boy, it's a breaking change if we delete it. I guess we could put a new one alongside. Like, I'm really tempted to do something like toggle command, right? And just have it fire. As long as pop-up mode is click, just have the command fire when changed, right? Because in the command handler, if somebody wants to know the current state, they can just bind to is pop-up open, and they can get the current state, no different than our handler does. That feels better. The alternative is to have one that fires differently. It's just a little weird to even have it. It's a little weird to even have the command itself. Command to execute if toggle is checked and toggle content is set. Boy, I don't. Why do we need a command in that case? Why do we? Because I guess I'm trying to understand when somebody would want a command versus just binding to the is open. I don't know why you would want to, like, toggle button in WPF has a command property, but it fires on click regardless of which way it's going. And I don't think it gets used that much. And I'm wondering if this guy should just be that. Okay, so let's go back here. So we'll leave JC a comment. So the changes here look just fine. I think the demo app command is correct. However, the pop-up box, I believe, is the one with the bug. I suspect we need to revisit how that command is actually implemented, since it does appear to be very useful. Okay, so we'll leave that, and then I think pop-up box is incorrect. I'm still trying to understand the viability of what this is needed for. So I kind of think that a better thing to do would just be to expose the, I've seen this happen now a couple times on latest Get Kraken. It gets confused when you have a white tree. Is if it would be better to have the command just fire when the toggle button is clicked, regardless. Oh, hey, that's pretty cool. I didn't know about this, Mr. X. That's a really, really nice feature. That is very nice. Well, shoot. Yeah, let's take a little gander at this guy. The only hits are in the... Well, now. Yeah. So, I think we can conclude that across GitHub, it's not real popular. It's not. Let's just hypothetically go here. Okay, we got 132 raw code hits. Let's see. Somebody implementing their own pop-up box. Lots of forks. Yeah. Oh, interesting. Here's an actual usage of it. Here's an actual video barcode generator. Interesting. Okay. Interesting. Okay. Well, suck. That kind of means that I don't want to break back compat. No problem, Izzy. No, JC just asked if we'd review the PR that he has for collapsing the buttons view model into the shared project. And I am drawing the conclusion that pop-up box's implementation of this toggle check content command is garbage and needs to be fixed. But we were poking around to see how much it's actually used by community people, just hypothetically, and there is a number of people leveraging it. Boy, I'm surprised. I also wonder, like, for example, this one here, how old of a material design implementation are they on? Right? How far back is this? Because pop-up box is old. Yeah, so they're way back on version 2.3.1. For reference, we're at 5. And I do like a major version release once a year. So I'm willing to bet we look at this. The date on this is probably, yeah, many years old. Okay. So I am willing to bet we broke it in a newer version. And due to the low adoption rate of said command, it didn't come out until JC decided to do some testing and found it. That's my working theory. So we'll slap an approve on there if JC wants to promote it. That is my working theory. Okay, back to making this thing work. You stop debugging. And then close. Numeric up, down. Okay, so we are going to go here. Let's see here. We were doing... I wanted the I format provider. And I wanted the maybe null bit. Boom. Nope, you are not maybe null. And you do not implement 1. Let's see. Let's put. It feels very weird to implement 1. 1. It's a very simple implementation. Let's see here. And this is going to get interesting because what we're going to end up doing here is pound if net 8 or greater. We're going to do one way. Otherwise, we're going to do this way. That way this will slowly, like this is going to suck now, but at some point, net 8 will be my minimum supported version. At some point in the future. It's going to be years, but at some point it'll happen. Okay. Let's see. Decimal up, down. You need the same treatment. pound if net 8 or greater, else end if. Okay, and then you look like this. Great. Okay, and then you are probably missing the same two things. Yeah, so you need to implement 1, public decimal 1. We'll just do that for good measure. And then you need the same. Let's see here. I need that, please. And then I want to pass it in, because I'd like you to actually respect it. Did I do that on the other one? I did not. You should always use your parameters. Let's see. So this wants number styles. Isn't there a all any? That's what we're going for. We want that, because I believe that is what. Let's look at what int triparse does by default. If you just call triparse, let's see. Oh, it does number style integer. Okay, so we will mirror that behavior. Are you the same way? Do you want to? So let's see. What does decimal triparse do? Number styles number is its default. So we will mirror that. Okay, that gets us down into there. Gets us down into there. Now we can jump into up down base. Okay, so that gets us triparse. All right, so that gets us all the way through there, and we don't have to think too hard. That's right. We were talking about the shim library. I'm not going to stress about it, because at the end of the day, I kind of want to see if I can make this sucker internal too. I'd like to not expose him if I can help it. Because I'm wondering if the problem is I want to do this as virtual or similar, and I run right back into the same static problem. Okay. This is now my next one. This is now my next one. I'm trying to decide if we want to do. I kind of want to implement new office is looking at you. Thank you, Nikolai. I'm glad you noticed. It's gorgeous, isn't it? Yeah, I'm trying to decide. I don't really like the idea of implementing compare, because at the end of the day, what this is really looking for is a less than or greater than check, and I don't think equal to is correct. I don't think equals to is correct. So let's do this. Let's go with compare for the moment. Static int. Okay, Copilot, what am I thinking? Thank you. So we are going to do that. We are going to put this back, but then I want to go test this because again, I am not sold that this is the right implementation. I could have sworn we wanted exclusively less than. Okay, let's give her a whirl and see what happens. I'm going to warn you, Nikolai, this next one's going to look ugly. It's going to look real ugly. But it's only going to look ugly until we can drop support for older .NET versions. So I am future proofing. Okay, do any of these have a max and a min set on them? They do not. Okay, so we need to go fix that real quick. This thing actually, numeric up down. Let's play with the decimal one, I think. Let's see. Come on, Visual Studio. Let's see. Minimum should be, I don't know, minus 2.5. Maximum, positive 2.5. That sounds great. Okay, so this way we can test it, because I have a feeling it's not disabling the button properly. So if I do this, yeah, see, the button's not disabled. And then if we do this, button is also not disabled. So I am convinced that this should be a strictly less than, strictly greater than. That is my assertion. Because once you hit your maximum, the plus button should disable, and once you hit your minimum, the minus button should disable. Numeric up down. Bing, 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 bing. It's kind of hard to tell on dark theme, so let's you can tell a little bit by the fact that the ripple goes away. But boy, that disabled amount and the non-disabled look a heck of a lot alike. But at least now the mouse over effect disappears, so you can tell that it's disabled. Yeah, I believe strictly less than and strictly greater than is the appropriate implementation. Okay, so we're gonna do that. Do that, do that, do that. Okay, so that handles all of that, and it is ugly, but at least for net 8 we leverage the new numeric stuff and everyone can be happy. Okay, next thing I want to look at doing. I do not understand why I can't go abstract here for no other reason other than to make it so people can't instantiate this thing directly. And then why I can't just collapse you in on each other. Oh, that is going to be interesting. I'm going to need to duplicate that much in both places, because I can't have a using between you. Yeah. Okay, so that's a little annoying, but at the cost of not having to have two classes, though. Kind of like that better. And then this becomes control. Yeah, hold up. I'll fix you in a minute. Just be patient. Just be patient. You become control. And then we can start bringing up everything else. So collapse you. I would like to bring all of you up. You're going to go here inside. But this is going to be like this. Oh. Right, I need to do self-type here. And I need to do self-type here. Okay, that handles that. Go get the rest of it. So we want increase, decrease content. We don't need the default WPF comments in here. Those can go. But then we lift you two up and out and delete you. Okay, so then we bring you up, and you can go here. And then this becomes self-type. You become self-type. And that just works now. And now I don't have two classes. That makes me feel better. Okay. Like that a little better. And then the question of, can we collapse some of this down to hide off the arithmetic stuff? Can we hide this sucker off? Or at least make it somewhat hard for somebody to accidentally use this. Because I think what we do is we go like this. And I suspect the reason that it was done the way that it was to make the styles easier. But I think we solved that a very different way. Yeah. Because then this actually goes away, because we don't want this anymore. And then this moves into here, because we actually want to do this. And we want to do this, because this default style key, no, that is not correct, Copilot, stop it. This default style key is just going to be used for determining what the implicit style key it uses to look up. But if this, let's see here. Let's see. Do the button clicks blindly just add, subtract value directly to value? Ask because I had a similar setup in the job, and there's an issue with that. Curious to hear. Right now, Nikolai, yes, they are. I can show you the implementation. It is very stupid simple. It looks kind of like this. On increase, add value and value step. So yes, value is just getting a blind add or subtract of value step to it. So curious what the issue is. Previously, like, this is a slight step better than what's currently released, because what's currently released is a hard-coded 1 that's blindly added. So it's slightly better, but it's not by much. Let's see. Couldn't watch screen while driving, but is this the difference between net versions? Would it not have been easier to have a partial class with the net version specific stuff in different files and remove it, just delete the extra file? Yeah, so Izzy, we might end up doing that. I put it all in one at the moment just for my own simplicity, but yes, I may look at breaking this apart into its own separate partials to go through and do it. Because yes, the whole idea here is we're changing the arity on the generic between net 8 and not net 8. Now, the hope is that most people aren't going to care, because most people should be referencing the NumericUpDown and not worrying about the base class. The hope is that nobody touches the base class. And so the base class can be a little more ugly, and everybody can keep using NumericUpDown or DecimalUpDown, or if there's something else that they would prefer in there, they can do what they like with that. And so hopefully that makes life a little easier for some people, because I'm trying to not break people. And no, it's not a stupid thought. The idea here, though, is I want to have the net 8 version of the library be able to leverage latest stuff. And if you're on net 8, you should get the latest and greatest features. But unfortunately, but I don't want to kill off older versions of .NET too early. Like, people rely on this library for a bunch of stuff. I've got some projects that rely on it for some stuff. Not all of them are updated, so it's kind of convenient to be able to keep it around. I'm wondering if I can take you inside of here. and put you here. I'm trying to make you as somewhat easy and yet I don't know if that buys me enough. No, I don't know if it buys me enough to do that. Put it back. But I do think we are going to put these things inside of pound if net 8 or greater. We're going to do a not. We're going to slam that down here. And if that way it can go away. Let's see. When binding value two-way, if a button click then executes or then exceeds the min-max bound, the view model setter will be called twice. Once with an out-of-bounds value, then with the converted value after conversion occurs. Seems like an issue in WPF. Also remember to set value with the set current value to retain the values. Yeah. Coerce, not covered. Oh, interesting. Okay. No, that's a good call out. Let me move you down here. Oh, I can't put you there. Oh, suck. This is just going to get uglier and uglier. And if net 80 or greater. Oh, shut up. Okay. That is a good call out, Nikolai. I believe the set current value is already being handled. I'm surprised. I'm surprised it would do that. Where now I want to go look at the coerce on value, because I agree that seems odd. Coerce numeric value. So you see it go through, even though the clamp should restrict it. Yeah. Let's bind this sucker up. I don't think our demo actually has a view model behind it. Decimal value. Let's just bind something here real quick, just so we can see it go. Because I am curious to see this behavior in action now. So if I do value binding value, no, value, I understand you haven't found it yet, relative source, ancestor type, let's see, NumericUp down. That's not. Let's screw this. We're just gonna give him a name. X name root. I am root. Let's see. Okay, so, and even though the default mode on that is two-way, I will be very explicit here. Let's see. So the VM setter fires before the coercion callback. Okay. Let's fire this up, and then I want to set some breakpoints and see this behavior. Because that surprises me. I agree. If that feels like a WPF bug, if it's firing before. Oh, I gotta fix this one. Okay, so this one here, so I killed this thing off. This is why there wasn't the generic in the middle, or why there was that separation, because of this behavior here. Right. Suck. WPF, why are you so bad? Suck, suck, suck. I gotta put that back, don't I? I gotta put that back. Dang it. Sorry, I'm going slow so I can make sure I don't screw anything up here. There. Okay, so this I don't want, though. That I don't want. I do want you abstract, and I do want you abstract, because I don't want anybody instantiating one of you suckers. And I also want you to be abstract. Yeah, fix was simply invoke the coercion callback directly. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Like, if this works exactly as you describe, I think what we're going to end up doing is basically the same thing. Is we will do a coerce and then a set current value with the coerced one, because there's only the two spots. Oh, I just realized this probably breaks. Yeah, it does. It does. It does, because now I need this to be decimal up down, and I need you to be numeric up down. Yeah, that'll be fine. That'll be fine for now. That'll at least get it going. We will probably then need to do a little more with it. Okay. 1, 2. Okay, so there's that. So now I want to go here. No. I want to be here. There's the coerce callback. We're about to hit the add, so I want to catch this here. And then I want to catch this here. So my control is playing the role of view model for sake of argument. So we hit. So this makes sense. On increase, we just came in from the button click. Value is here. Value step is going up. This is going to make it equal to the maximum. So it does not hit the max. Oh, that's a good point. That is a good point. Let me adjust that. Let's see. Maximum, how about to 4? Yep. We'll just down that way. That way we sit off of it a little bit. Oh, let's see, breakpoints. Let's see here. Delete, 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 and delete. And then disable and execute. Okay, so 1, 2, there. Re-enable all breakpoints. Then we click. Okay, so value is at 2, value step is 0.5. Okay, and so we are going to set current value, F5. Look at that. View model is hit first, then the coerce. That, sure enough. Sure enough. Wow. Though I want to do one more thing. I think you are spot on the mark, but I am wondering if, because the value that landed did get clamped. That's so bad. That's so bad. That is so bad. Okay, so down here, we probably just want to implement the same clamp logic down in the increment and decrement. Clamp. I think this is the same. I think this is the same fix you were describing, Nikolai. Minimum, maximum. But basically just do that. And that is dumb. Thank you. Great call out. There we go. Cool. Thanks, Nikolai. Way to swoop in, save the day, and then disappear. I approve. I tip my Mountain Dew to you. Okay. Could not write to output. Huh? Visual Studio, you're the only one who would be holding on to that. There you go. Let's make sure that this guy now works properly. And then breakpoints. Enable all. Boom. Boom. And then I want to look at the value coming in. Where's locals? Do I not have locals open? No, no, not what I wanted. Not what I wanted. Stop it. Go away. Locals. I want that window. Yeah, so incoming value is now 2.4. Why is that not in my... Normally I keep my locals window down at the bottom. Come on, Visual Studio. Go. I must have closed it at some point. Okay. So now it comes in with the correct thing, and then it's going to coerce. So the coerce we still need in case somebody directly assigns to value. Like that's a thing. But yeah, that is that dumb. That dumb. Let's see. We're gonna put this back to 2.5 and 2.5. Yeah. Shut up. I get you. You're unhappy with me, Visual Studio. Clean that up. Okay, so that handles that. That handles that. We require this thing down here. Let's see. Pound if not net 80 or greater. And if. There. That cleans that up. It makes that a lot nicer. Okay. I think that works pretty well. Let's take a look here and see what is me on the other side. Okay, so let's take a look. So close that. So I don't want that change anymore. I do want that change. So we're going to keep that. I don't care about that change, so throw it away. The generic one, we do have to set our numeric up, down, decimal up, down, so that works there. Go there, there. Then this is where it gets real interesting real fast. With a lot of hacktastic poundif stuff. Yeah. I do wonder how... Let's go and look, because I don't like that null coalescing on value to string. Now I'm wondering if T should be limited to value types. So here's my thinking. If I limit it to structs, value types, then people are restricted to ints, decimals. If I leave it open-ended, it technically leaves the door open for somebody to get real creative. But I mean, it's an I number. How many I number implementations are going to exist that aren't structs? Suppose it's possible. Maybe I shouldn't slam the door. I kind of doubt anyone's going to get over eager and do that, but what do I know? I'm just a measly little developer. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so I think we actually have some UI tests around this. So let's make sure we didn't break anything. Let's see, WPF, numeric up down tests. So what? Get value is a double? Huh? Why is it genning as a double? What? Values T. What? Huh? Huh? Int. Oh, it's failing to compile. That's why. Okay. Okay. Whoo! Whoo, boy. Okay. Sanity has been restored. My world makes sense again. That is what is important. We have a custom complex number that I think is a class, not a struct. Okay. But Izzy, would you ever use that with an up-down control? I can only imagine somebody having some sort of weird, irrational scientific number representation that's a class. Is it possible? Absolutely. Should you do it? Probably not. I'll leave it open-ended. I'll leave it open-ended. Oh, you would? Okay. Okay. Fine, we will allow the custom complex number to be used in a up-down numeric control if you so choose to make your own derived class. It will require you to add your own style, but you should be able to point it to the based on existing style. Okay. So something broke and the UI test generator is failing, which means I kind of want to group by project and then filter down to what? Oh. Hold on. What did we break? What did we break? Let's see here. So that's not the right project. Let's try this again. Because we did not include it in the namespace. Is that here? No. I want to check this. I think that's a lie. Are we still signing that? Thought I killed off the signing. I am confused because these things here are source generated in, which means there's something else that's causing the source generator to. The customer's always right, no matter how stupid they are. Yeah. I used to work in a motorcycle shop a very, very long time ago. We had a lovely saying there. The customer may always be right, but in a motorcycle shop, they are all liars. What are those XML namespace attributes? Yeah, so those, yeah. These guys here, these are what bring in your namespaces. And this is why I'm a little surprised to see this warning about, I'm trying to remember where we add it. There is a place where when you build your own custom library that you must, in matters of taste, I lost my train of thought. When you build your own custom control library, that you actually have to declare what is there so that it can find them. I'm also realizing LMNO. We did not do, so, okay, so clearly people don't use this. NumericUpDown. And then we're going to go. So this file here is what populates your Visual Studio toolbox. So for people who use their WYSIWYG editor, this gives it to you. So we should add those in. Yes, the customer is always right in matters of taste. See, I feel like that is oftentimes the bit of the quote that goes missing. Where I am. Okay, I do not remember where we declare this sucker. So we're just going to collapse these things down until I find it. Let's see. That there. Oh, this will be a problem at some point. Let's see here. Let's see. Ding, ding. Ding, ding, ding. Later, Pikachu. Glad the move went well. Good to have you back. No, Izzy, you aren't old-fashioned. Well, okay. Well, I'll put it this way: you might be, but not in related to this. For people who are interested, like for example, you open up this guy here, right? Like you have this designer surface that is failing to load. This is why people don't use the designer. And you know it constantly has problems. But there is this toolbox option, right? And some people really, really like having this toolbox pre-populate with all the stuff because they like to be able to, you know, scroll through and then you can drag these things onto your surface and make them work. But if you load in a NuGet package, the NuGet package explicitly has to provide this manifest file to tell this toolbox what controls are available inside of it. So if you have a NuGet package that releases out WPF controls. If you add this little XML file, it will go through and then populate the toolbox for you. So, huzzah. And then if I remember right, the key, it needs to live in, let me look. There is a specific place you must put it inside of your NuGet package. Oh, these guys are all sigh. These source references are all wrong now that they are in the wrong place. So let's see here. Publish. No, where do we keep these suckers? Elemento. This guy. So clearly need to update the solution file, but it needs to go underneath the tools directory inside of your NuGet package. So tools, Visual Studio Tools Manifest.xml, you're off to the races. Yeah. It's one of those areas. It's like, very few people, in my opinion, use the toolbox. I actively discourage people from using the Visual Studio WYSIWYG Designer. I think it is horrible, and not worth leveraging. Okay, so I'm surprised there is something going on here. It cannot be used as type parameter. Oh. Does XAML test not support generics properly? I wonder if that's the problem. Oh, this might be a Kevin bug. Oh, what is the output? Because this is what I hate, is when a source generator fails, it doesn't show you the output. What is the thing? C# source generator ms build generate output file. There is a magical thingy that you can turn on. Yeah, this thing. We want this button right here. This is one of the things about source generators that absolutely annoys the living daylights out of me. Is it won't gen. Let's see, one quick question, I hope. For XAML value converters, is it possible to bind model properties to the public property of a converter? So you have a value converter and you want the property on the converter to be the target property of a binding from your view model. No, it is not possible. And the reason being that in WPF at least, in order for a property to be the target of a binding, the base class has to derive from dependency object. And you can make your value converters derive from dependency object, but that doesn't get them into the hierarchy of the visual tree where like the data context is going to properly propagate in. A much easier solution that I tend to do is if you're in a situation where you want to bind to something like that, usually what I find is that is a multi-value converter, and then you just do multiple bindings, right? Yeah, so typically, yeah, so exactly like what you're saying is you have something that's the actual source property, and then something else that's basically like a converter parameter that you want to be able to set. But converter parameter doesn't support simple bindings because you're already inside of a binding. But if you do a multi-value converter, you can just have the first parameter be your value, second parameter be your parameter one, as it were, right? And then let me show you, because if you are on later stuff, where is it? Where are you? The fact that it insists on showing up over there. Right, so if you are on latest stuff, you can get, so you can see here, this thing is basically this custom padding converter. It's taking in a thickness, a bool, another thickness, and it's doing some work with it. Latest stuff, list pattern matching is your absolute friend, right? So so the way I would write this now, thickness, default padding, bool, apply custom padding, and then thickness, custom padding, and then all this goes away, and then this goes like this, and your world becomes a happy place. Let's see. So bound property is an enum. Converter takes a parameter for the display, so the converter uses the correct UI display text. Yeah. I think what you will find is that a multi-value converter is probably the easiest way to go. In my opinion, because the moment you get into those bound things, the other thing that you can kind of abuse with multi-value converters is because any of the nested bindings inside of your multi-binding, if any of them trigger property changes, it reprocesses the whole thing. So you get into a nice, happy place where you can technically have a binding in there whose sole purpose in life is not to be consumed by the converter, but just to trigger updates. I've seen people abuse that every so often as well. So yeah, if you have latest stuff, you can get away with list pattern matching, and I am convinced that list pattern matching is built for this. Oh, how do you specify this in the XAML? Sure. So if we go looking here, right? Okay, toolbox, go away. I don't want you. So what you end up doing, right? So this guy down here is custom padding converter. So, right? So you declare your converter just like you would any other value converter. The only difference is you put the word multi between the I and the word value. So that's all there. And then down here, what you end up doing is you, rather than a straight binding to your enum, you'll do a multi-binding. And multi-bindings either need a string format or a converter applied to them, because it's very unusual that your target property is an array. And so the thing that a multi-binding is going to generate for you is an array of values, one value in the array for each of the child bindings inside of it. So in this case, it's got binding, right? But in your case, it might be, right? So something like Izzy's enum, right? And then Izzy's parameter. And then you're done. Assuming that, Izzy's enum and Izzy's parameter are both properties on your bindings context, i.e. view model. And then at that point, obviously this parameter is now dynamic, so you can start to toggle it. And so if it ever raises property change, everything updates. If enum ever changes, everything updates. And so it becomes very kind of convenient actually to do it. And then your converter does the heavy lifting of taking in the parameter, taking in the enum, doing the needful, and returning out what you want it to. So, screenshot ready for later. Excellent. Yeah. So something akin to this. And if you run into problems, just shoot me a message on Discord, and we can look at it. Yeah. So something in that vein is my opinion. Like I said,
I absolutely adore list pattern matching for multi-value converters. It's like pure gold. Because when I first saw list pattern matching, I'm like, that's cool. When am I ever going to really use it though? And then I saw it on a multi-value converter. I went, there's the use case right there. That is it. Because that is just absolutely perfect. But this one has older .NET. Okay, so I think, let's rerun this. We may run into a fun situation where this needs to be an update to XAML test to support this stupid thing, which is kind of annoying. Not gonna lie. Okay, so you'll note it still failed, and you'll note the UI test still show, if we look at our analyzers, XAML test generator, here, put me back on the other side. Right, generator did not gen any output. That is annoying. The fact that it only shows the output of a generator when it succeeds is not helpful. Microsoft, taking notes here. Let's see, let's look at Net 8 Windows. Generated, what? What? Okay, what is the target type that we built against? Net 8 Windows, that's the only one that's here. Hello? Hold on, I want to make sure we aren't getting hosed over by this, are we? 9.4. Yeah, this is, that's old. Generated. I'm sorry, what? My source generator must just be choking. Oh vey. Oh vey. I've been scratching my head over that. It's got a weird data grid thing. Ooh. So you're doing it on hard mode. Got it. My value converter or my source generator must just be absolutely choking on this. So this one is wrong. Set minimum, set maximum. I wonder why it thinks that this is an acceptable range-based generated extensions. Like, this is today's date, like 20 minutes ago. I'm very, very, very confused. Oh, this is range base. Hold up. Hold up. So it's failed to generate and then has fallen back to the wrong extension method. Because it's iVisual element of T, where T is a range base, but this isn't a range. Okay, so this is just, okay, so the tooling has lost its mind. So the way XAML test works is when you add in this generate helpers, what it does is it walks through all of them and says, here, I'm going to go ahead and look at all of the properties on your control, and I'm going to generate you extension methods for them so that you can leverage them. The problem being is I suspect it is choking because it walks up the hierarchy. I suspect it's choking on the generic and not handling it properly. Either that or because it's abstract, it's failing. Let's try this. I wonder if it's just because it's abstract. Let's test that theory. We could always just go look at XAML test as well and see if that is contributing. I am very surprised that I am not seeing it generate in the output directory though.
because I would have completely expected to see in the OBJ debug net8 windows, like we should be seeing output here. It's like the entire source generator is choked. Yeah. Where is my output window? Output. Element generator failed to generate source. Argument exception. There we go. There's the cause. Message. The hint name must be unique within the generator. Oh! It handles the generics. It handles the generics, but it tried to generate 2 files because it started with Okay. So that means this is what's breaking it, and I bet you if I rebuild now, it'll work. Definitely a bug that should get fixed. But I bet you I can make this work like this. This is a hack, by the way. Let's see if it handles that okay. Let's see. I mean, it clearly erred, so that's not a good sign. Back to the top. Up, down, base.